you? Welcome to LSB Feasters Radio Channel and Travel Corner, where our mission in life is to keep great radio from the past alive. And today, we're going to Seattle. In fact, it's Channel 95, KJR, one of the oldest radio stations in the country. It officially got its license in March of 1922. However, it actually started as an experimental station in 1920. Now, KJR was popular throughout the years. It had some legendary owners at one point. Yeah, Danny Kaye actually owned this station at one point, along with Frank Sinatra. Oh, and during its rock and roll years, KJR had some legendary names that worked here, like Larry Lujack, Scotty Brink, Ichabod Cane, Pat O'Day, Emperor Lee Smith, Charlie Brown, Bwana Johnny, Gary Lockwood, the Lock Jock, and so many others. And this station was a top 40 powerhouse. Well, in 1981, KJR decided to celebrate its 60th anniversary, and they put together special presentations of KJR through the decades. This Aircheck is from one of those decades. Got to thank Norm Gregory, who passed this on to me years ago. If you like what you hear, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, too, if you like it. After you do, smack that bell. And when you do, you'll be notified whenever we post anything new. All right, let's go back to 1981 and remember the 1960s on the 60th anniversary broadcast from KJR Seattle, Channel 95.
KJR Seattle, celebrating our 60th year on the air. And now more of our birthday special.
As the new decade of the 1960s came rocking in, this is how KJR was rocking.
Tune to style, originality, with Seattle's most popular personality, sparkling bright, spiced with everything right. Your musical host on radio, KJR. 1 in the morning.
Hi, I'm Lee Perkins.
Swing up to noon.
This is Wally Beethoven.
Afternoon. Stay where you are.
Terry Rose and everything's coming up roses.
For the fabulous 50.
Hi, everybody. This is Pat O'Day, 3 till 6 every day.
After dinner, it's a winner.
Hi, Dick Curtis with the KJR Battle of the New Sounds.
At the height of the night.
The late Jerry Kay, music till midnight.
Night people pride.
Jimmy Darren rounding out the 24-hour day on the Big K.
They're the greatest. They're the most. Your musical host on radio, KJR 95 on. I'm walking in the rain till September.
There was a refreshing new feeling racing across America in 1960. It was a feeling called hope. Thousands of young American men and women were traveling around the world to places like Pakistan and Honduras to build schools or cultivate land in an organization called the Peace Corps. At home, a new space program would ensure America's place in the quest for new frontiers. And the dreams of ending discrimination and wiping out poverty looked one step closer to reality.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
And the dreams of America followed a new president into the White House.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
For 1,000 days, it would be the land of Camelot as Jack and Jacqueline Kennedy presided over their domain with a magical blend of elegance and vibrance. Never before had a first family been so good-looking or seemed so young, so intelligent, so talented, and so brimming with vitality. Nor had the affairs of state been conducted with such style. A favorite Kennedy song became identified with his regime. It was Camelot.
The trademark, the motorcade is coming by here. I can see many motorcycles coming by now, police motorcycles. Just had a call on the radio for all units along Industrial to pick up the motorcade. Something has happened here. We understand there has been a shooting.
presidential car coming up now. We know it's the presidential car. You can see Mrs. Kennedy's pink suit. There's a Secret Service man, spread eagle over the top of the car. We understand Governor and Mrs. Connolly are in the car.
The days of Camelot ended abruptly in Dallas on November 22nd, 1963.
We'll share the joy. Falling in love can bring.
1964 would see Lyndon Johnson elected in a landslide victory over Barry Goldwater. And for a while, it looked as though the dreams of the Kennedy administration might become reality. Johnson's ambitious Great Society ushered in a landmark education bill, a major civil rights bill, and a series of anti-poverty projects. And Johnson rode a popularity wave until the hot summer of 1965.
They will come.
In that summer, racial violence erupted across America, in Los Angeles in the Watts, in Cleveland, and in many other cities. The U.S. sent troops into Vietnam for what would be a long and bloody stay. And for the next 3 years, unrest would touch almost every segment of society. Until in 1968, a weary Lyndon Johnson declined to be part of the election.
Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
The dreadful words assassination would again hit the front page in 1968 as two great American statesmen were gunned down, Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy.
Everybody here, see my old friend Martin.
Seattle in the 1960s, a lot of changes took place. There was the World's Fair of 1962, which not only changed our skyline with the orange-topped Space Needle, but also brought hundreds of thousands of tourists from all over the world. And the area grew steadily through the decade until the late 60s, when a slump at Boeing put thousands out of work and nearly devastated the area's economy. On July 20th, 1969, one of John Kennedy's dreams became reality, with these words from the moon's surface.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Next, the two forces that changed the sound of the 60s.
Oh yeah, tell you something, I think you'll understand.
This is KJR's 60th birthday special.
First on the sound, KJR Seattle in our 60th year of broadcasting. And now more of our birthday special.
The month was January, the year 1959. A young man named Berry Gordy Jr. borrowed $800 from his family and began to build a Detroit-based recording empire which would permanently alter the status and sound of rhythm and blues music. In the early 60s, R&B was still struggling to gain commercial success with the mass appeal teen public. But Gordy fully appreciated the necessity for a unique R&B sound which would be universally identifiable. What it created was a monstrously effective art form which became the sound of young America.
Audiences of all persuasions have cherished the Motown sound ever since its first big success in 1960 with Barrett Strong's Money.
The best things in life are free. That's why I want.
There have been many artists who have begun their careers under the guidance of Berry Gordy's carefully controlled Motown formula.
Through the years, these people have become some of the largest names in the entertainment industry. In the 60s, there was a whole slew, including the Miracles.
I don't like you.
And the group here in the United States has sold more records than any other group besides the Beatles. Three ladies named Cindy Birdsong, Mary Wilson, and Diana Ross. They were known as the Super Supremes.
Through the mirror of my mind, time after time, I leave you.
And there was the wonderful Mary Wells.
No, nothing you could turn can tear me away from my God. Oh, my God. Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Boatman.
The Marvelettes.
Wait, hey, Mr. Boatman. Please,
Little Stevie Wonder. Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. The Temptations, and a huge hit in '65.
My
Gladys Knight and the Pips. Motown was cooking in the 60s, and Motown let the world know that there was more being produced in Detroit than just automobiles. There was music from Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, Edwin Starr, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and of course, the Four Tops.
Hi, this is Duke of the Four Tops. I myself, along with the other tops, namely Levi Stubbs, who is our fantastic lead, Obie Benson, our bass, and Lawrence Payton, who sang second tenor and various other number of parts. We'd like to extend to KJR a very happy birthday on their 60th birthday, and many thanks to them, and naturally to all our fans who've been with us throughout all these many years. And some of those years were really like fairy tale years. Say, for instance, the years of like 1964 to 1969, those days of real high-riding Motown days, when everything was glorious. And it was like a dream come true, really. One day, we looked around, we were hoping and wishing for a hit record, and the next day, we had just about everything we could imagine. The first hit being Baby, I Need Your Lovin', and it just kept coming hit after hit after hit. And we were fortunate to be in the company and friends with people like Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Supreme, Marvin Gaye, the Vandellas, the Temptations. It was just a great time. And one of my favorite tunes is Reach Out, and naturally, I just can't help myself.
Without a doubt, the most influential of all music movements during the 60s came from our mother country across the Atlantic.
It was the second time England had invaded our shores, and this time they came with long hair and guitars.
That's me, you know me. Future. Boom, 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 boom. Just Dutch. That should be the drums. Yeah, that's the drums. All right. And after that we've got George Harrison playing guitar, solo guitar, yes. And next in line is Kettle Hall. John Lennon, Christmas. And on my right side is Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney, yes. All from Liverpool, known as the Beatles.
In 1964, the Beatles landed at Kennedy Airport in New York and were welcomed to America with pandemonium.
Now, with the Beatles party, there are thousands, literally thousands and thousands of teenagers, and they're mobbing the whole party. The police are speaking out a little unnecessary rush, not with the teenagers, but with the members of the official Beatles party.
Just like I need you. Used to be sort of influenced by Elvis in the old days, I think. Used to love him. Chuck Berry, Carl Perkins, and Marvin Gaye and things. Can't really sing like him, really. Give her all my love.
The Beatles revolutionized rock as no one ever had, and no one has since.
KJR Seattle, celebrating our 60th year of broadcasting with a special look back. More coming up.
During the 1960s, we showed you how many different ways there were to sing KJR Seattle, Channel 95.
KJR Seattle, Channel 95. KJR Seattle.
KJR Seattle, Channel 95.
KJR Seattle, Channel 95. KJR Seattle, Channel 95. KJR Seattle, leave it on 95.
KJR Seattle, Channel 95.
KJR Seattle, Channel 95.
And we love you.
KJR is like a beautiful child growing up, free and wild.
Don't stay where you are on KJR 950 90 on your dial, Seattle.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to KJR Seattle. Under the programming of Pat O'Day, KJR hit new heights in the 1960s with an exciting group of personalities, fun contests, and a superior news staff.
More music radio, KJR Seattle. Glenn Roberts' old-fashioned love song.
It's 11 minutes past 7 at KJR Seattle, the Land Roberts program at Channel 95. Remember, when you hear Chicken Little, exclaim the sky's falling in. Call KJR. West 75100, 39 degrees at Channel 95.
No major accidents. Traffic moving smoothly all over town at the moment. Both floating bridges okay. Traffic moving in on Aurora a little slower than usual, but nothing serious. And 99 is moving well into town. This is Channel 95 Traffic Control.
12 minutes past 7.
He lay face down on the desert sand.
Have a Camel cigarette.
Have you ever wondered how to get into the Peace Corps? A lot of people have. The first step is the Peace Corps non-competitive placement test. Find out where in the world you can help. Take the Peace Corps placement test, 8:30 this Saturday morning. Here's where you go.
Mike Phillips' housewife of the afternoon is Mrs. Florence Childs of 5903, 164th Place Southwest Edmonds. We'll be playing her 10 favorite records on the KJR Fab 50, and this is the one she lists as number 1, Ask Me by Elvis Presley.
Attention, mothers. For the benefit of you mothers who are exhausted from screaming at your fun-seeking children, lower your voice. Sit back, have a cup of coffee, and let Mike Phillips scream at them for you.
Okay, here I go.
Did you know that Congressman Pillay voted against the Kennedy-Johnson tax reform
10
bill?
minutes after 1 o'clock. Mrs. Florence Childs lists this as number 6 among her favorite top 10. Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison, 55 degrees, Channel 95 sea level temperature at the minute. Sing it, Roy.
Larry Lujack, Monday night. Jim Sims down the chimney at 11 o'clock tonight. This is Nancy Wilson. I want to be with you. It's Larry Lujack, 716, all requests. KJR, request line numbers 421-9298.
It's the Supremes at Go-Go, really going to town on their great albums produced by Motown.
In the Jet City 95 is the big number 1.
On American Sports, on KJR Seattle, Channel 95.
First place teams in the AP High School Football Bowl remained unchanged this week, and balloting sportscasters and sports writers were apparently reluctant to make any changes among top contenders. Now, here's Chuck Mullen. What a game that will be in November when Southern California meets UCLA for the Rose Bowl berth. It's been years since the Huskies were completely out of the picture so soon. A few more items of interest. Cookie Gilchrist traded to Miami by the Denver Broncos. Cookie, a bad cat. He makes trouble constantly, thrives on it. He's always been a big, overweight boy riddled with complexes. He'll never get along with anyone on any team. If Miami can get a few good runs from him, it will help their new American League team. This is Chuck Boland, and that's the way the ball bounces.
Oh, tell it like it is, baby. John Lennon, the amateur theologian, and his gang. KJR Classic 721. Be sure you're listening tomorrow for Chuck Boland's football predictions of the college games coming up this weekend. And don't forget, tomorrow night on my program, I start a new service. Going to start predicting the outcome of the fights after the high school games. And really, I am. Jay Cowan of Tacoma called in on KJR's request line 421-9290 because he kind of craves this thing. Mitch Ryder and a Detroit wheel. Devil with a blue dress on. I dig it because it's noisy, it's loud. And good golly, Miss Molly. Taylor Jack program is a wild orgy of habit. It's an examine here. KJR at 726.
Hi, everybody. This is Lad Roberts with the Friday Night Dance News. And the big dances right after the big football games include the big one at Parker's on Aurora.
Time now for another visit with a story lady. Where's the story lady? Time now for another visit with a story lady.
Hello, children. Today we're going to hear the story of the Frog Prince. Once upon a time, there was a prince who was changed into a frog by a wicked witch.
Am I late?
Well, you weren't here, so I started telling the story myself.
Look, I got hung up in traffic. Give me the script.
No, I like being the story lady.
You get away from that microphone or I'll break your leg.
One day, many years later, a princess...
Give me that script!
You're too late. We're out of time. Ha!
Give me that script!
Be with us next time, boys and girls, when the story lady will tell you what to do when assault and battery charges are pressed against you.
Oh, yeah? Give me that script!
You dirty...
Bad old days, Seattle, Channel 95. Come on, horse.
Now back to the adventures of Red Ryder.
Hey, Red, what's the matter? You don't look well. Matter of fact, I don't feel well, Bill. You know, hemorrhoids.
In an actual test by a chiropractor in Gary, Indiana, he discovered that none of his patients like to have him pull their leg. It's 22 after 4 at KJR. This is the Paddle Day program on Lincoln's birthday.
Yeah, oh yeah, what condition, my condition was.
Hey, gang, got a groovy little quiz for you. See how hip you are on some of the big stars. The answers are either true or false. Are you ready? Herman's of the Hermit's real name is Peter Chatsworth. True or false?
Right, correct.
Davy Jones, who used to be a member of the Detroit Wheels.
Correct.
Bobby Gentry is 24 years old.
Right.
Say, if you scored 100% false on all your answers, you're correct.
Oh.
His Herman's real name is Peter Noon. Davy Jones, of course, always been with the Monkees. And Bobby
Scotty.
Gentry's only 19 years old. How can you find out these facts? It's easy. Get Hasbro's newest happening called Showbiz Babies. They're nutty. A collection of tiny dolls of your favorite stars. The in people like the Monkees, the Mamas and Papas, Herman's, Bobby Gentry, Mitch Ryder. They come with real hair, super mod clothes. You can bend them, you can pose them. And let's not forget the quiz. Showbiz Babies also comes with a 7-minute recording which tells the star's innermost thoughts and habits. And that's still not all. Each Showbiz Baby comes with a complete autographed picture of your favorite star. They come in wild, pop art, big color packages. Ask for them.
It's 26 KJR minutes after 4. This is Lincoln's birthday, and there are so many great stories about Lincoln, but I think the greatest is the story about the time. This is when he was still with San Diego before he went to Buffalo, and they were playing Houston, and he was on his own 4-yard line in the last quarter with a 3rd down and 3 yards to go, and he went off tackle, shook off 6 secondary defenders, and went 96 yards for a touch. What?
That ain't the right, pal. It's a different Lincoln. He owns the Amos.
Oh, hi. That's a different... That's Amos Lincoln. The other... Oh. I'm sorry, folks.
This is Peggy in the KJR traffic copter with traffic conditions in just a moment.
And now, direct from the Wino Wing of the Larry Lujack Memorial Home for wayward one-time disc jockeys, here is former KJR near great, Gary Shannon.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago now. The summer of '69. You may remember a show called Levity Limelight. Norm Gregory and I got away with that for a couple of years, and don't ask me how. This is Gary Shannon, and I just wanted to congratulate one of America's great radio stations, KJR.
Oh, it's 9:20 exactly.
Clearing their throats, the Squiremen present Levity Limelight. Oh, I just really needed this tonight to get straightened out.
Nobody told a joke yet, Gary. There's no need to laugh.
I'm just looking over the first letter.
We get letters here, Norm and Gary at Levity Limelight. We get letters in the mail, and we read them over the air, the premise being that they're funny. Paula Henry, remember her?
What was that premise again?
Levity Limelight, presented by the Squire Shops in full cooperation with Seattle City Light and all their poles. Martin Origorski, Raymond Labanashev, Carl Yastrzemski, Clyde... Remember our mottos down here at City Light. Better to flood British Columbia than to curse the darkness. Or, better a couple Canadians get hot than for your low-rate economical water heater doesn't work.
KJR Seattle. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, there's a little taste of what KJR sounded like in the 1960s. The people, the voices, and the programs. Next, we'll take a listen to some of the greatest music of the 60s. And a concert to end all concerts. KJR Seattle, celebrating our 60th year of broadcasting. More of our special coming up. The Bond introduces...